Good morning, everybody. Oh, sorry, good afternoon, everybody. And you're really welcome to the final session of our virtual career series in science and agriculture. And we're delighted to be joined again by the Meade Farm Group and Eileen Hannon, who is HR and payroll manager at Meade Farm Group. So a really important person because she does the hiring and she also pays the wages. So Eileen's a really important part of getting the or a really important person to get to know if you're interested in applying to the Meade Farm Group. Eileen is a DKIT graduate. They are usually supportive of everything that we do here at DKIT, from placement right up to graduate recruitment, and then participating in employability events like the one we're at today. So Eileen, thanks so much again. Thanks for sticking with us through the technical difficulties, and we look forward to your presentation.
Perfect, thanks. Okay, so look, everyone, you're all very welcome to the presentation today. So as Anthony mentioned, I'm Eileen, I'm the HR manager here at Meade Farm Group. I'm also a DKIT graduate. So I started here after I graduated directly from DKIT back in 2009. So I'll just give you a little background on the company. So we are Meade Farm Group currently. We are also known, and have been previously known as Meade Potato Company. So we rebranded earlier on this year in February due to the fact of the wide range of products that we supply the retailers with. So we made the change early on this year. So you may know us as Meade Potato Company. So I'll just give you a little bit of a history. So Philip Meade Sr. started the business back in 1977. He was a sole trader at the time, started growing his own potatoes and supplying to the Northeast region to small retailers. So then in 1982, he incorporated Meade Potato Company. And from there, I suppose, the business started to grow. You can see that's some of Philip's own children there in 1993. So it started on a small scale and it grew and grew. By 1996, the company became major players. They were exporting boatloads of potatoes when there were shortages across Europe in 96. So that kind of was the start of when the name and the company kind of started, I suppose, to get a name for itself. We are in a very rural location. We're based in Lobenstown, County Meath. So we're located about 10-15 minutes from RD. So we're commutable from Louth, Meath, Cavan, Monaghan, North Dublin. But as I said, we are very rural. So in 2010, we decided to build our own access road, specifically for the company to enable us to, be able to supply more efficiently. Because we were so rural, the roads were quite small around the area. So we built our own road directly to the business, which makes distribution to central distribution centres around the country a lot easier, and for access and deliveries and stuff. It makes life a lot easier for us. So then in 2012, we had more major expansion. We built, I'll show you a picture later on, but we built another whole big warehouse area and office buildings in 2012. So previous to this, we were on a lot of a smaller scale. The offices were generally, prefabs and stuff like that. So we put massive investment in 2012. Then in 2013, we decided we'd start celebrating National Potato Day, and we had our first 5K family fun run here on site. We did it again in 2014. So in 2016, then we launched, I suppose to give you a little bit of a background, we do supply, I will go through it later on, but we supply the major retailers and discounters in Ireland. And the retailers can be very specific as to how the product should look, and in particular the potatoes. So there is an awful lot of, there can be defects on the skin finish of potatoes. So we decided in 2016, in order to reduce the waste, that we would do our own prepared food division. So that involved peeling the potatoes and chipping them in order to get a nice byproduct instead of having a waste product. Then 2019, we did another family fun day ourselves here on site. And then in 2019, it's quite difficult for brands and companies like ourselves to get into the retailers nationwide. So when we supply your Lidl or your Aldi, for example, Lidl would be in an Oaklands brand, which is their own private label, and the produce in it most of the time would be Meade Farm Group produce. So in 2019, we decided to try and think of, a new innovative way to try and get the brand into the supermarkets. So we introduced the first paper 100% compostable bag of potatoes. You can see the little blue bag there. So that would be widely seen in all stores, Lidl stores nationwide. So that was just an attempt to try and get the brand into Lidl. So then in 2020, after much research, a couple of years it took of research and development, we decided to create, or I suppose diversify and have our own extraction factory on site here. So again, it was a way to try and reduce the waste of the potato product. So starch is a very important ingredient in a number of products. You'd see it on a lot of ingredients on the back of products. For example, cheese would have potato starch and stuff like that. So it's in a lot of products that you wouldn't even know, but there is no other, I suppose, a supplier of starch in Ireland. Other companies are supplying it for themselves and use themselves as well, but we're the only extraction starch plant in Ireland that has actually starch for sale for the open market. So then in 2020, we had more major expansion, expanding our warehouse areas. So between loading bays and just general production floor space, in order to be able to add more production lines to the factory to make it, I suppose, more efficient as well, so that we can pack for different specials in your discounters as well, because it can be very changeable. Their orders would be, the way the supermarkets work is they would give you a special and you have to run with it for a certain number of weeks, and it could be short notice, so you have to kind of be able to react to situations like that. So that's why we did the extension back in 2020. So this would just show you, now this has escalated even from 1983. When I started here, it was 2009. So you can kind of gauge the expansion over the couple of years. So when I started in 2009, there was 60 staff, and this is actually even out of date. We're close to 380 staff currently. So we have expanded greatly over those years, 12 and a half years since I've been here. We've grown during recession times as well, during the pandemic as well. So it's been quite a busy place. Now, so this is where I explained we had an original store. This is how we started, the small store there. And you can kind of see over to the right-hand side there was two prefabs, one on top of the other. That was our luxurious office space at the time. And then, as I said, in 2012, then we had to expand further in order to have space, I suppose, for all of our office space supporting departments. So just to give you a little bit of background, so Meade Potato Company, as you can see there, is now Meade Farm Group. And what we do is we're growers, packers and distributors of fresh produce to the retail sector. So, obviously Ireland, the climate isn't amazing to grow everything. So we specialize in potatoes, carrots and onions. And then a lot of fruit, whether, depending on the season, can be sourced in Ireland or internationally. So, so basically on site here is where we pack and grade and all that type of thing for the retailers, and then it's distributed through central distribution centres in different parts of the country. So we also do facilitation also for other third parties. So we act as a base here in Ireland for, say, a UK company that supply Lidl Ireland. So we would pack, grade and do everything that we do with our own product, but it's on behalf of somebody else. So we're basically seen as a middleman in Ireland to make it easier for them to supply Ireland. Okay. So as I have touched on it already, but these are our main customers. So Lidl, Aldi, Iceland, Dunn Stores, BWG, it's Avondale Foods or Country Kitchen and Super Value. So we are supplying Lidl nearly, I think, 20 years this year. So we were one of the first, businesses in Ireland to secure business with Lidl. And then obviously it escalated and we got into Aldi and Iceland and Duns as well. So it is a very busy place. And I did mention about the private label. So you might not be fully aware of the brand, but in Lidl you will see that blue compostable bag with Meade Farm on it. And in Aldi you might be familiar maybe with the prepared division that it's a chilled chip product. So we do have our own Meade brand in Aldi there as well, but it can be difficult to, they want the big, huge brands like your Kellogg's and stuff in the discounters, but it is hard for companies like ourselves to try and get the name out there. So, okay, so I'll just give you a little bit of an insight into the different divisions within the business. So it's not just food and it's not just agriculture and farming. There's so many different supporting departments as well. So the divisions within the company then, so we have our potatoes, we have vegetables and salads, fruit, organics, and the prepared food along with starch. So that's why we decided to rebrand this year, because we probably weren't doing ourselves any justice by calling ourselves Meade Potato Company. And that was the decision that was made this year to go with Meade Farm Group, to keep it all under the one umbrella of all the different products that we have on offer. Okay, so Anthony, I might just get you to play the first video if you can.
Will do. Alan, just bear with me there for 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Homegrown alligator, see you later. Gotta hit the road, gotta hit the road. The sun ain't changing the atmosphere, architecture unfamiliar. I could get used to this. Time flies by in the yellow and green. Sit around and you'll see what I mean. There's a mountain top that I'm dreaming of. If you need me, you know where I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. South of the equator, navigator, gotta hit the road, gotta hit the road. Deep sea diving round the clock, bikini bottom, like a toe. I could get used to this. Time flies by in the yellow and green. Sit around and you see what I mean. There's a mountain top that I'm dreaming of. If you need me, you know where I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone.
Perfect. Thanks, Anthony.
No problem.
Yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed that video. I think the science and agricultural students will appreciate it more than the business students last week. But yeah, I hope he's liked it. So I suppose then just to give you a little bit more insight into the different divisions. So the potato division, there's approximately 35,000 tons of potatoes per year to our customers, which is a massive amount, which is why we can't I suppose grow that amount of potatoes ourselves. So we do have teams of growers, throughout Ireland. Mostly though, potato growing is generally in the northeast region. So kind of North Dublin, Louth and Meath. So it seems to be a lot, the growing by the sea seems to be, works a lot more effective. And then I suppose the fruit division, we have teams. I should have mentioned this already to you, but that each of those divisions that you can see there have teams of sales and procurement specialists, really. So our teams, in other companies, you might have someone that would be focused on sales or procurement. So, for instance, in the potato division, you could have somebody focused on, sourcing the supply of potatoes from a local farmer. And then there could be somebody else on the other side that would be dealing with the retailers. But we like to, the staff here actually do both parts. So they buy and sell. So it's nice to see both aspects of it from start to finish. So that's the way kind of we do it here, but they all have commercial teams. So just depends on the size. Potato division, there could be 5 sales and procurement assistants, similar in fruit and all the other divisions there. So we do have a lot of our procurement and commercial teams are here quite a number of years. So we have a lot of loyal staff in those type of positions in particular. That obviously enjoy the kick out of I suppose making a little bit of money, what we can make out of some of the retailers, which can be difficult. Sorry, 1 second. I think we have a pause here. 1 second. Here we go. Okay, so then just so over here on the right hand side, you can see the freshly cut chips. So that's the product that you would see in local Aldi stores nationwide. So that was back in 2016 when we decided to go into that area. It's not on a massive scale, but we do sell to the food service as well. So companies that would source restaurants, that supply restaurants nationwide. We also supply them too. Anthony, I might just get you to play the other video. It's only a short one anyway, but we might just let the students see. Okay, I'll let you go ahead.
No worries. Bear with me there for 2 seconds.
Perfect, thanks. So that gives you a little bit of an insight into, I suppose, the warehouse environment. So now that video was, it was in fast motion, but it is a very fast-paced industry, obviously, because it's fresh produce. So as I said previous, the retailers can request, specials, and they're quite large volumes. That you would see maybe a Super 6 in the supermarkets, like that, those type of products that you see when you go into your Lidl or your Aldi. But it is very fast paced compared to other industries. But it's good. The days pass here so quickly. Things change literally in minutes. From my point of view, I suppose with recruitment, I could be fine for staff today, and tomorrow morning I get a call, I need 10 new staff in order to be able to fill a special for, 6 to 8 week period. So it can be very changeable and unpredictable, but you try and plan as best you can, but you just never know. So look, I'm going to just talk a little bit about sustainability. I'm no expert on sustainability or anything, but we'll go through a few bits anyway. Sorry, it's gone again. Should work. Okay, perfect. So so look, we're members of Origin Green. We on site here actually, we've implemented a water filtration system. So we do it as much as we can in terms of sustainability, because I suppose that's the major thing. Even the retailers now, ask you for your sustainability plans and are you members of Origin Green and all that type of thing. So everyone is a lot more conscious compared to what they used to be. So we have randomly enough, we have resident beekeeper here on site. It's a little bit away from the factory, thank God, but it is on site here. On a road, actually, I didn't mention, is nearly 2 kilometers in length. So we have quite a vast amount of land in the run up to it. So the bees are kept quite a bit away from us. Also, just our staff here. So I did mention that we have quite a low staff turnover in most of our office. Staff are here like 5, 10, 15, 20 years. We even celebrated some staff that are here 30 years recently. But we do try to, develop the staff and train them and, try and retain staff as best we can, which is not easy in this current environment. And then we have gleaning. So we're part of the gleaning program. So basically, whenever the crops are harvested, there's still products sometimes left in the field. So we work alongside Lidl in particular, Love the Gleaning Project, and also Food Cloud. We donate waste products. It could be fruit, veg, potatoes, just depends, to charities such as the Food Cloud. So they are really interested. They come out here and do a gleaning project and basically take all the leftover product and donate it then to the kitchens in Dublin and throughout the country that feed the homeless. Then early this year, I think it was, 2021, we implemented solar panels. And you can see the picture under there. We do have our own wind turbine on site. It's, in case anyone wants to know, it's a 300 kilowatt wind turbine. And between the solar panels and the turbine, obviously they're both weather dependent, but we supply around 22% of the energy that we need to run the factory here. So we are looking into possibly upgrading the wind turbine as well, because it's here a number of years now. So that could be in the pipeline too. We have a new substation here as well. So basically we try to upgrade in order to make the factory more efficient and run more smoothly. The ECR is not much I suppose to say about that, but yeah, we were the only Irish attendees at ethical trading forums. So the likes of Lidl would have been very, I suppose, ahead of the times compared to some of the other supermarkets, and they would have been running ethical trading workshops. What must be 4 or 5 years ago now, and we would have attended with more UK-based suppliers of Lidl. So it's becoming very popular with all of the retailers at the moment, Aldi, Dunn stores. So we would have to, ensure that we are trading ethically, and also we'd have to do ethical trading audits, which we had one in June of this year. So there is a lot more, I suppose, areas that you have to bear in mind now in 2021. Before this, it would be more food safety standards like your BRC, Board BIA, organic, that type of thing. So we do have a lot of audits, but this one in particular is kind of the new up and coming one that we have to obviously do for the retailers. We also are members of Repack. So look, I did mention already, so this is the blue bag, as we call it, the compostable bag in Lidl stores nationwide. So that was, I suppose, quite an innovative packaging idea back in 2019. There wasn't any other compostable bag out there. So that was how we got our foot in the door with Lidl with our own brand. Okay, so bear with me 1 second till we see what's coming up. Grand. Yeah, so look, this, jumping ahead of me now. Yeah, so this is just, I suppose, a bit more detail here about the gleaning projects, and in our attempt to be zero, we'd have zero food waste facility here. So as I said, in terms of the potatoes, the skin finish, we decided obviously to do the prepared division, then the starch, and then we have all the gleaning projects and donations to Food Cloud. So we do try our best in terms of no wastage. Okay, so this, I suppose, it could be of interest to the agricultural students in particular. So this is just kind of showing you the process of the potato, and trying to eliminate the waste and then processing it into food grade starch. So like the starch goes into, I don't know, I have it at home, and it goes into sauces and stuff as a thickening agent as well. It's gluten-free, which is a massive thing these days. I think most people are nearly going gluten-free at this stage. So we are supplying major food industry customers at the moment. It's still kind of in its infancy, but it's definitely a massive investment, and it definitely will have a good payoff in terms of waste anyway. Prior to actually the starch division, a lot of the waste product would have went to cattle feed. So a lot of farmers in the area would have bought it as cattle feed. There is still a small amount of that as well, but predominantly the potatoes will go into the starch division. So just to give you a little bit of an insight into industry recognition. So look, we've been lucky enough over the years to win a number of awards, National Agri-Food Business Awards, Family Business of the Year. Now, a lot of these, as you can see, is up as far as probably 2019, 2020, not even 2020 actually, because the pandemic hit and nothing happened. Literally the country stopped, and so did all of the awards. Yeah, hopefully we'll get back up there and winning a few more awards in the next year or so, now that hopefully life will get back to a bit of normality. Right, I suppose the important part then, I suppose why we brought you all here is the business. So I suppose I know it's science and agriculture today, and I just wanted to touch on I suppose the different careers that we have here with Meade Farm Group. So there's lots and lots there. I only highlighted a couple of them. Other people might see something there that might be of interest to them. But as I said, it's very, it's not just the food industry, if everyone could just bear that in mind. So there's so many supporting divisions. For agricultural science, we do have a number of graduates here that would have studied food science and are now working in our quality department. So quality is massive. It's a massive part of what we do here. If we don't have good quality products leaving here, more than likely the supermarkets aren't going to want our product. So the importance of quality is paramount here, and we have to have a brilliant team behind us in order to make sure that every single product that leaves here is of the best possible quality that we can provide. So it does, even from a food science or agricultural background, we do have a graduate that started with us during the pandemic. He was in science and agriculture. I think he did actually food and agri-science, but he's kind of doing a program here with us. We don't generally do graduate programs. We rather take on graduates in entry-level positions and give them the opportunity to work, because we don't expect anybody to have experience when they come straight out of college. But this guy in particular, Eugene, he is a graduate of 2020, and he came here and he's going to eventually become a junior buyer, which is in our sales and procurement department in potatoes. But at the moment, he's dipping his toes into a number of areas. He's, spending time with the production supervisors, learning the whole process. At the moment, he's working in our quality department as well, because in order for him to sell good product and know what he's selling and know everything about the product, he needs to have a bit of background. So it's a learning curve for a graduate, but it's a brilliant way to learn. So he's stuck in quality at the minute, but he's loving that department, and he will be moving into then the sales and procurement once he has all the knowledge he needs. So I suppose just bear in mind that there is a number of areas that you could possibly go into. You're not pinpointed to a certain area. There's an awful lot of people, I know I used the example last week, we have some staff that might have a degree in engineering and they're now buying and selling fruit. So, Philip Senior, who's, the managing director of the company, would always say, once you have the right attitude, you can learn anything. So you don't have to be a specialist in the area straight away. Once you, I suppose, have the right attitude and you're willing to learn, it's the type of business that they do, we do take a chance on graduates and stuff like that in order to see which area best suits them. So that's really it. I suppose what I wanted to mention to you as well is, I know you are all studying at the moment. So we have our careers page on our website. So our website is meadefarm.ie. So all vacancies will be on the website, and also we're quite active on social media, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So if any students would like to keep an eye out, before you graduate, and if there is something there that's of interest, definitely contact us directly. We also, I suppose, just to mention, we have a number of positions part-time. So I would recommend highly, if any of the students wanted to gain part-time employment, whether it's working on the factory floor, working in our dispatch area, just to gain an insight into the food industry, see what you think and see if it's something that you might want to pursue when you graduate. We have part-time staff at the moment working in our quality department. And recently we had a graduate actually of DKIT, Roisin, she finished her degree there. She graduated in 2021, and she has decided now to stay on with us. She was working part-time in our quality department, loved what she did, and now she's part of the team full-time. So just to give you, very clever of her to try and get the experience while she was studying, and now she knows that this is the area that she wants to stay in, and she just loves the food industry. So, everything needs to be considered when you're thinking of a career. As I said, we have a lot of loyal employees, and we would love to see any students, making a career for themselves here at Meade Farm.
Brilliant. Eileen, thank you so much. Really interesting. I think throughout the presentation, what you're stressing is, if you don't know what you want to do, come to us anyway, because we'll find what suits you best. And it's really interesting story about that. I think you said Eugene. It sounds pretty much like a graduate program to me. You're saying you don't.
Not as structured, and we don't expect students to apply for it months before they graduate or anything like that. So the graduate positions, when they're available, they're for start probably in a month's time type of time. But it is good to if you do want to get the experience and move into, like, say, an office-based role, you do, of course, have to learn from the ground up. So a lot of our buying team would have learned in that way. So, you're better off to know the product that you're trying to buy and sell, as opposed to being thrown in the deep end.
No, absolutely. And then in relation to the part-time roles, are they typically advertised on the website as well?
They would be, yeah. If anybody wanted anyway to send in a speculative CV at any stage, it's absolutely no problem. As I said, things change here, hour to hour. So if anyone wants to apply, we'd be definitely open to it. We're definitely not against it by any means.
The other question then is around placements, and I know you've been very supportive of placements. So that's going to be a speculative type of application, just for students, if they are highlighting, or if it comes through, depending on what way it comes through, either it may come through your placement office, whatever it might be. But just know that Meade Farm Group are obviously very supportive of placements, and it's a great way for, as well as the internships, as well as the part-time work, really to define where your best fit is in a local company where you can work locally but impact globally. And I think that's really the key message, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose one thing I didn't mention, I touched on it about, I suppose, the expansion of the business over the years. Like, I came from DKIT in the middle of recession times, and I've seen, we were in recession, and obviously, things are getting busier now, but the food industry is so reliable in that, we were expanding, we were recruiting during recession times, and even during the pandemic. So it's, it's a good, reliable career and industry to be in. Yeah. So something to think about when everyone's deciding what area they want to go into.
No, absolutely. No. And everybody needs to eat. And if you're producing that, then that you're going to be okay. Just one final question on the application process, Eileen. So typically graduates are hit with assessment centers. They might be hit with psychometric testing. Typically, what does a graduate recruitment process look like from Meade Farm Group?
We're not going to complicate the situation by any means. So listen, it's generally an interview. So we do first round interviews, and then obviously we'd screen and do second round interviews. So it's nothing complicated. As I said, Philip Senior is a firm believer in the person, the personality. Are they a good fit for the role as well? And obviously their skills and knowledge and experience that they have. But you don't have to jump through hoops. It's about the person and their capabilities and their attitude that would really be, I suppose, what we're looking for.
Perfect. Okay. We're just on 33 minutes. Thank you for bearing with us through a bit of a technical problem at the start. It was probably my fault, and thanks to the students for sticking around as well. Eileen, just a massive thank you again for all that you do. And it's great to have, obviously, a DKIT graduate back and presenting to current students, and we obviously encourage students to keep an eye on Meade Farm Group careers page as well as Careers Connect, because I know you put opportunities
We
up there
do.
as well.
Yeah.
So it's important that students are aware that there's just probably 2 areas they need to look at.
Exactly.
Thank you again, Ali.
No problem. Thanks. And look, we'll see you next year, if not before that.
No, next year we're going to do it in person. There's no
Great.
I don't think any of us can go through any more virtual.
No, I'll be happy to come back up there. I'm kind of missed the place anyway.
Good. Well, we'd be glad to welcome you back, and we might be able to actually buy you a real coffee as opposed to giving you a virtual coffee.
No problem. Thanks very much. Thanks everyone for listening.
Take care.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye.